Hey guys, it's Mr. Coach DJ here, and welcome to math class. All right, now we're gonna plot points on the coordinate plane. A couple things you need to know. The word plot just means take your ordered pair, your points, and put them on the graph where they're supposed to be. Now, ordered pair means there's an X and a Y value. Now they're written like this. So they're written in parentheses. You have the X value first, and then the Y value. And how you would write them, you would write your X value and your Y value. So the X value is your X coordinate. If you think about this, an ordered pair are basically instructions or directions. The first direction is the X axis. That's why there's the X first. The second set of instructions or directions is the Y axis. So you would do whatever the X is telling you to do first. So you go right for a positive number, left for a negative number. Then you move up or down depending on what the Y value is. So if the Y is a positive value, you go up. If the Y is a negative value, you go down. So X first, then Y second. And as a bit of a tip, so that you know where your point should be, let me show you what values belong in what quadrant. So if you remember, quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. Quadrant 1, positive, positive. Quadrant 2, negative X, so a negative and a positive Y. Quadrant 3 is going to be a negative and a negative. Quadrant 4 is a positive and a negative. What this means is, if your X value is positive and your Y value is positive, your answer will be in quadrant 1. So if you plot a point and it's in quadrant 3, something might be wrong. In quadrant 2, your X value is negative, your Y value is positive. Quadrant 3, both your X and Y values are negative. Quadrant 4, your X value is positive, your Y value is negative. If you remember from the quadrant video where I introduced the coordinate plane, you might be asked what quadrant this coordinate pair is in. So for example, if I look at each one of these ordered pairs, I can already tell you what quadrant it'll be without even plotting the points. So for here, I have a positive and a positive, which means this ordered pair will be in quadrant 1. I have a positive and a negative, which means this ordered pair will be in quadrant 4. I have a negative and a positive, which means this point will be in quadrant 2. I have a negative and a negative, which means that ordered pair will be in quadrant 3. So now that I know where they're going to be, let's plot these points. So what I can do before I actually plot these points, I can number them in what quadrant they're supposed to be in, so I can focus more on that quadrant with that ordered pair. So let's start with 3, 2. So this is a positive and a positive, which means it'll be in quadrant 1. Positive and a negative, which means it's in quadrant 4. Negative and a positive, which is quadrant 2. And negative, negative is quadrant 3. Okay, so I don't have this drawn to scale, but I'll make a couple little dashes. Okay, this isn't drawn to scale, but this is just for an example. So I'm going to work in quadrant 1 with this first point, and I'm going to go on the x-axis a positive 3. When you're plotting points and you're putting ordered pairs on a graph, you always start at the origin. So you start at 0, 0, you move your x-axis as you need to, you move your y-axis as you need to. But always start at 0, 0, start at the origin, and then go from there. So I'm going to start at 0, 0. Quadrant 1 is where I should have my point, and I'm going to go positive 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go positive 2 now that I'm going my y-axis. 1, 2. So my point should be about there. Now let's go to the next one. So I'm going to go at +4, start back at 0, start with my x first, +4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then -2. You remember with your vertical number line, down means negative. So I'm going to go 1, 2, negative. Now sometimes you might need some sort of straight edge to help you guide you on the number line. Because sometimes it could be a bit confusing and you can lose your points and you could be off just a little bit. All right, next point, quadrant 3, -1. So I'm going negative x, going backwards on the x-axis right here. +3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then my last one, negative and negative, which means I'm going to be down here somewhere. -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is my x, and then my y is -2, 1, 2. So I'm going to be about here. And that's how you plot ordered pairs on a coordinate plane. So again, let's refresh. Quadrant 1, we'll have an ordered pair of positive, positive. Quadrant 2, we'll have an ordered pair of negative, positive. Quadrant 3, we'll have an ordered pair of negative and negative. Quadrant 4, we'll have an ordered pair of positive and negative. And remember, your ordered pairs are always x first and then y. It's always x first and then y. You always plot your points. You start from the origin and you move x left or right if it's positive or negative, and then you move y if it's positive or if it's negative. And you'll end up at some point somewhere on the graph. I hope this helps. Thank you for being coachable. Drink water, and as always, take notes.